Anna says, how do you maintain motivation? School fees, mortgages, those things, like everybody else. But I suppose that's the one side of things. I think for most people is there's that side, and the other there is to love what you do. To enjoy what you do. And this goes back. When I was a kid at high school, I loved creating videos. I loved teaching. I wanted to be a teacher when I was growing up. So this, in some ways, is a manifestation of all of that. And I would have never thought growing up in Beechworth that I'd be able to speak to a couple of thousand of you live all around the planet from my study. That's insane. And I love gadgets and technology and marketing. So that's something that I'm passionate about, and that helps with motivation. But I have bad days, lots of bad days, right? Like everybody else does. And sometimes it's that fact that, you work with business partners and, you've committed to do things. So that's what gets you motivated to do things. Deadlines are often big motivators, particularly for my type of entrepreneur. Deadlines are very important to have things. You need the copy for that launch done because it's going to happen on Friday and the email's going to look pretty poor if you haven't done it. Right? So those sorts of things. I'm not a big fan of pump up motivation. That's not my particular style. But ultimately, if you can work in an area, in a niche that you love to work in, then that is a huge help, I think. So that to me. But just understand that it's not all roses and lollipops and unicorns farting rainbows. It just isn't. Even though, I will have a good old pity party bitch session with myself all the time, right? Because, it's not, sometimes you can get really, disenchanted. When I do that, though, what I try to do is go back to basics, go back to first principles and remind myself. And often, for me, and again, this will be different for different people, but I'll get inspired by reading a good book. I definitely get inspired by, reading a good book about a new technique, a new piece of technology. An app will often be a motivator, and just trying to make things fun, asking yourself, if whatever, and I heard Tony Robbins say this many years ago, if you've got an activity, and where does it rank? We do this with the Kanban boards. If we do an activity that we didn't like, we put a sad face on it, because then in the retrospective, we can ask ourselves, hey, how can I improve this task? How can I make it better? And it might be playing music, might be doing it, or might be writing in a coffee shop just to get a change of environment, might be something. Who knows? But all of those sorts of things are part of it.